Okay, Ethan here, also known as BossKrenko on Magic Online, and occasionally can be found putting out questionable streams on Twitch. So today I thought I'd try something a little bit different than just my usual re-upload of Twitch streams, and do a deck tech. Well, I say deck tech. I'm just going to talk through some sweet cards that I'm going to be playing very soon in an old school tournament, CopCon in London, which is in about a few days now, which is going to be really sweet. So this is a format I never thought I'd play. I didn't know what exactly was legal in the UK in terms of printings, but it turns out it's very reasonable. So old school art, so the original art and the original old frame. So 4th edition, revised, so forth, is all legal, which is pretty awesome. Chronicles, so forth. So it's actually a lot more accessible than it might seem. And I'm sure you couldn't guess what deck I was going to play, but it's going to be Goblins, obviously, old boys. And that's mono red, so I don't actually need any dual lands or power or anything like that, so that's all for the good. And even if I had that stuff, I think I'd probably want to play this anyway, because it's pretty sweet. So what actually sparked this off? So basically I bought this just out of interest. I just bought this Mons Goblin Raiders. It's quite nice, it's beta Mons. They're not expensive, they're like a couple of euros on Magic Card Market, but I just put it in with another order because it looks amazing. I mean, look at that art. I like Jeff Menges' art quite a lot, and this is no exception. Like, it's so good, and it really looks nice in beta because the colour's really nice. And then obviously we've got the amazing flavor text. Pashlik Mons, the recent Goblin legendary creature that was printed in Modern Horizons. This is where they come from. Hang on, let's just... Can we focus this? There we go. So this is where that comes from, which is pretty awesome. But yeah, I just bought this. I was like, this looks cool. I wonder if... And then I was like, oh, I wonder if Goblins is playable in old school. I wonder if that's a thing. And it turns out it is. So after like looking at a few deck lists, I know you're not supposed to net deck in old school, but I just kind of needed to get an idea of like what, like, have people played a Goblins deck at a tournament? They have, so that's pretty cool. And then from there, cobbled together a deck list, which we'll go through in a second. Unfortunately, Mons Goblin Raid isn't playable, despite how good it looks. But that's kind of what sparked it off. And then Francis, a good friend, FGC on Magic Online, FGC MGT on Twitch, the legend. He also decided to play some old school, so just from me buying this, he had to buy a load of old school cards, so that's pretty good. Anyway, so old boys, this is what we're going to be playing. This isn't so much a deck tech as just me showing you sweet cards on camera and explaining why they're in the deck, I suppose. The card pool's not huge, so there's not a lot of choice. Although even Mons Goblin Raid isn't playable, which is kind of funny. I mean, it kind of is. It's a 1-1 for 1, and as you'll see soon, the rate on Goblins 1-1 for 1's like average, so maybe it's playable, but most of the other ones have minor upside. So I guess the next place we need to go to then is Goblins of the Flag. So this is also a 1-1 for 1, but it has Mountain Walk, and you have to destroy it if or sacrifice it or something if you control a dwarf. Can we focus this? Can we focus this sometime? There we go, nice. So this slightly beaten up version is actually, I've owned this card for a very long time. When I first started playing Magic, so I started playing casually, like kitchen table Magic 6 or 7 years ago. The first, I think, pack or anything I ever bought was actually, as you might possibly believe, a Krenko Mob Boss M13 intro deck. That's where all the name and everything comes from. And because I thought Goblins were kind of sweet, I bought a mixed lot of Goblins off of eBay. It was just like a random selection of Goblin cards, and this Goblins of the Flag was in there, and I thought it looked kind of cool, looked kind of goofy, didn't really get what the border was, and just never really looked at it ever again, but it's now going to be in my old school deck, which I think is kind of cool. So you've got 3 more of these. Oh, knocked the camera. Knocked it again. Clumsy oaf, as usual, you can believe that. So 3 more Goblins of the Flag. So 1-1 for 1 are like the average rate of Goblins, but they do have a minor upside in that they are mountable. So if your opponent's playing Mountains, or we're playing, say, something that makes our opponent's non-basics into Mountains, it becomes a little bit more interesting. So next 1-1 for 1, we have Goblin Digging Team. So again, 1-1 for 1 with minor upside is a common theme in this deck. The art is super sweet once again, as is the flavor text. From down here, we can make the whole wall collapse. Yeah, boss, but how do we get out? It's like I'm in charge or something of these exploratory goblins. But yeah, so these are really awesome. Nice. It's really cool being able to play like a deck with the dark cards in it. These aren't particularly expensive cards. These are just like, I mean, these are like 50p each or something. There's a lot of these around, and they're not very good in any other format. So it is what it is. the common theme of this deck is it's not exactly flashy. It just is, I don't know, the art and the board just look amazing. So I'm not like flexing with, oh, I've got alpha beta cards all the way through the deck. I actually don't. But I'm just excited and it looks sweet. So next, iconic goblin then. This is probably the second most iconic goblin. Maybe the second or third most iconic. Depends where you rank Mons Goblin Raiders, I guess. But this is pretty iconic. So Goblin Balloon Brigade or Gabloon. So another 1/1 with upside. This has got slightly better upside in that you can pay 1 to give it flying, which is kind of awesome. Alpha Goblin Balloon Brigade is kind of busted in that I think you can give any creature flying. But we're not playing Alpha 40, we're going to play Old School, which has got the actual magic rules. So just flying to itself, but that's still pretty cool. And also with the amazing flavor text. From up here we can drop rocks and arrows and more rocks. Yeah, boss, but how do we get down? Well, you might remember the flavor text from Digging Team. They go together pretty well, which is kind of sweet. So that's like our selection of 12 1/1 with minor upside. So these are like okay, but they're not really that good. They're not particularly above rate. Like I think Flying Men is playable, I'm not 100% sure. But that's not good enough on its own. So how do we make goblins into a playable tribe? We do that with Goblin King. So how sweet is this? I never used to like this art that much when I first got into Magic. I was like, wow, this art looks so weird. But since I've been playing Legacy and whatnot, I really like Just for Murphos art. I love his dual lands. I love his basic lands. I really like the art. And I've really come around to absolutely love the original Goblin King art. It looks so cool. It's really awesome. So this guy's kind of busted. He's a 2/2 for 3, which is already like a good rate in Old School. And all goblins in play gain Mountain Walk and +1/+1. So he doesn't get it himself. This is like weird old card formatting where he's not himself a goblin in this card, and all other goblins get +1/+1. That's obviously been oracled to other goblins get +1/+1, and he is a goblin, because that's silly, but that's just how old Magic cards used to work, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so this guy pumps these guys into 2/2s for 1, which is kind of sweet, and they all gain Mountain Walk. So all of a sudden we've got a much better force. And if you draw like, you know, like one Goblin King is pretty sweet. If you get like 2 Goblin Kings on the board, that's pretty good. So that's basically the core of the deck, to be honest, in terms of the like creature base. We do have some other creatures in here. So like the Sly mono red deck, which is like basically this deck but without goblins, plays Ball Lightnings, and a lot of the mono red decks seem to play Ball Lightning. So goblins, I think this is like fine. So I don't have the dark ones; these are a little bit more expensive. But this is the original art, which looks amazing. The art on this looks amazing. Quinton Hoover always does awesome art, and the Ball Lightning is no exception. This is just a 6/1 for 3 red, trample, and you have to sacrifice at the end of turn after it comes into play. But it's pretty good. It's basically just like 2 lightning bolts in 1 card. It's pretty annoying, and it's quite a good rate in Old School actually. Like even in Modern, there's like the Coco Ball Lightnings deck, which is kind of a meme and hilarious, but can win some games. In Old School, this is actually just fine. There's nothing that can really... I mean, you have to chump block stuff with like Sarah Angels and all sorts. Francis will tell you the pain of chump blocking a Ball Lightning with a Sarah Angel. It's pretty good. Yeah, these are pretty annoying. They're pretty good, just to close the game out. As you can imagine, 1/1s for 1 don't often get the door closed quickly enough, but the Ball Lightnings the Ball Lightnings are there to help. So, yeah. That's basically the end of the creature base. So next we've got the reach package and the removal package. So as you could imagine, lightning bolts included. So I got these earlier in the year just because I really wanted to have the Blitzschlags or the foreign black border ones, because I love the original. Hang on, if we can focus the camera at all. Can we focus the camera? Is that something we can do? Maybe we need to move these out of the way. There we go. The Christopher Rush art is like the lightning bolt art. I mean, it's just what you have to try and have, and it's not easy to get them. Certainly a black border, like the German printing, which is what this is, the German language foreign black border, which is what I've got, is gradually going up. But these are really nice, so I just wanted to get a hold of these before they get too expensive. And who doesn't want to cast Blitzschlags? It's like pretty sweet. So we get to play a set of these, which is awesome. Original art. So card is very good, especially in Old School where everything else is pretty poor rate. So next we get the original Chain Lightnings. This also looks amazing. I don't really like with the lightning bolt art, the like the reprint version, the guy on top of the mountain. It still looks pretty cool, I think. One of the things I like about the old art on cards is the fact you have the juxtaposition of the colors. So you have like Force of Will is like a red art on a blue border, and like old lightning bolt is blue art on a red border. That's all really cool. And I feel like a lot of the modern cards I don't know, if it's like a mono red card, the whole art's just red or shades of red, and that's fine, but it gets a bit boring after a while. So it's really cool to go back to the old cards where like the frames don't always match the art. I think that's really nice. Anyway, so modern chain lightning I don't like very much, but old school chain lightning looks super sweet. So this guy is basically lightning bolt, but his sorcery speed. And your opponent can also pay 2 to send him back at any other target, and then you can kind of keep it going, hence the name Chain Lightning. So, still pretty good. Not that many people play mono red, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. But time these effectively, but they're pretty sweet. So, yeah, 8 bolts is pretty good. So, the next thing we've got is a couple of Shatters in the main deck. So, Mishra's Factory, from what I understand, is like, well, I mean, everyone plays 4 Mishra's Factory. Looking at some of the pictures of the decks, it's kind of hilarious. People are playing like 3 color decks with barely enough color sources and 4 Mishra's Factory. I don't understand. I'll be interested to see how that goes. There's definitely going to be an adjustment from playing like Legacy Magic to old school, where the mana base is very different. But some people, I don't know, some of the mana bases seem pretty greedy, so we'll see how that plays out. We'll come on to the way we've got to punish that in a little bit. But yeah, so Shatter seems really good. This like main deck Shatter in this format just seems good because there's already, everyone plays 4 Mishra's Factory. Then you've got like Moxen, all sorts of things that you can just hit with this. The Jace of the format, Jace the Mind Sculptor of the format, James A. Tomb, that needs to eat a Shatter. So this card is just good. The art's sweet. Maybe one day we'll get beta versions, but for now the revised ones still look amazing. So yeah, excited to shatter some dreams, make some memes come alive. Okay, so the next one, so these are really sweet. This is one of the reasons to play mono red, I guess, is that you get to play Fork. Fork is amazing. This card is nuts. So firstly, the art's awesome. These, again, just the revised Forks. So you just can pay 2. It's an instant, or if we're going back in the bad old days, interrupt. And you just can copy the spell. So if someone casts like a Fireball for 12, I guess that's not going to happen in old school, but someone casts a Fireball, you can just Fork it, and then your copy resolves first. Or you could, someone casts like a instant, you know, I know someone who may have cast a number of Brain Geezers for like, you know, X equals 6 plus. And oh, maybe I've got a Fork in hand, I'll just Fork that. And then not only can you Fork the Brain Geezer first, you get your 6 or 7 cards before they do, you might even then Fork yourself into, say, a Red Elemental Blast and then counter the Brain Geezers. That'd be pretty mean, I think, if that would happen. But Fork is sweet. Got a couple of these in the main deck. I mean, this can just copy anything. So if someone's like trying to disenchant one of your factories, you can copy it, disenchant their Jane Day Tomb, stuff like that. So Fork is pretty awesome. You can also just cast a Bolt, Fork it for 6 damage, which is also fine. But Fork's like super versatile. And like, again, I think probably one of the reasons to play mono red. But yeah, very excited to try this out. So next we've got another very iconic mono red card. Well, it's not necessarily mono red, but red card in general, Fireball. This thing is sweet. The art's amazing. Mark, I don't know if I pronounced the name right. Mark, is it Mark Tedden or do you say it differently? I don't know. It's awesome. But yeah, looking forward to doing some of these. This is just like your catch-all removal, finish the game, direct to face, burn spell. But yeah, this is going to be fun to cast. Forking your own Fireball is kind of difficult sometimes, just because the rate doesn't work out very well. Like you already have to pay 2 for the Fork, which you could just pay for the Fireball, so you don't always do that. But forking other people's Fireballs is sweet. Okay, so the next one, so Wheel of Fortune. This is quite a beaten up copy, but it's still amazing. The awesome Daniel Gellan art. All players must discard their hands and draw 7 cards. How awesome is that? So wheel effects in aggro decks or more aggressive decks, which I assume Old Boys kind of is, well, I say assume, it is, are pretty awesome. So you can just wheel yourself into like 3 bolt effects and just finish the game. Or refill after like pooping out a bunch of guys early on against a control deck, and then also wheeling away all the annoying spells that they've been trying to put into their hand. So this card's really awesome. Looking forward to casting some wheels. So next we've got those disruptive permanents that we were talking about. So we've got 2 Blood Moons. So I finally managed to get some Dark Blood Moons through trading away a bunch of other cards. And once again, we've got the, if we can focus at some point, the Century. Come on, you can do it. Come on, camera, you can do it. There we go. Again, we've got the amazing Tom Monostrand art. This just looks so good. And how busted. All non-basic lands are now basic mountains. Nothing else, that's it. It's just a mountain. So sweet. But yeah, this is going to be fun. So this is, again, another reason to play mono red, I guess. If your opponent's playing, you know, a funky, greedy 3-color deck, it's no longer a 3-color deck. It's now basically a 1-color deck. It's red. They're playing Mishra's Factory. Oh, doesn't matter anymore. They're playing a bunch of other stuff. Doesn't matter anymore. Nice Tron deck. Blood Moon. It's pretty sweet. So this also means that our guys with Mountain Walk now are a lot better than they might first seem. So Goblins of the Flower becomes a lot better, so does Goblin King. Against like 2-color decks, I don't know how good this will be, but like 2 in the main seems like pretty good place to start, and then we can go from there. But yeah, Blood Mooning people, this is like another good way to like catch up against like greedy control decks. So the next thing we've got is an Orcish Oriflamme. This is like the final slot that I'm not sure what to put in really. I've got a Sheevan Dragon, which I would play, but I think it's just too expensive for the mana base. We're playing 21 lands, I think, plus the Sol Ring, which I'll show you in a second. So I don't think I can really put a Sheevan Dragon in there, even if it's for control decks where it goes long. But this, in an ideal world, would be a Gauntlet of Might. Weirdly enough, I don't own a Gauntlet of Might, although maybe one day we'll see. So this is kind of filling what that slot would be. And I don't know, this is still okay. Like, you know, if you've got like 3 goblins in play, you can just play this, and now there are 2 ones on the attack, which is pretty good. So I don't know, I think this is kind of cool. And the art's awesome as well. Dan Fraser does amazing art, so we'll see how that goes. I've not really cast it much so far, but I haven't played enough yet, so we'll see how it goes. Anyway, so Sol Ring, got to have one of these. It's not that good in this deck because most of my mana costs are just red. I don't have very many X generic mana costs. But I don't know, this can get an Orcish Oriflamme out. There's some sideboard cards will show you that this can get out on turn 1. And it helps pump up fireballs and things, cast your wheel more quickly. So I think it's still really good. I mean, it's still busted, but we also get to play with the amazing art. Look how good that is. So, I don't know, it seems fine. Okay, so Landbase. Let's try not to drag this video out for too long. Mishra's Factory. So this is the only nice Mishra's Factory I currently own. I did manage to get a cheap one online, which should be on its way. But I've had this for quite a while. I got this when it was a lot cheaper, way before they spiked, to play in Turbo Depth and Legacy. Never really played it much there, to be honest. So it's kind of mostly been sat in a binder or in a collection. But finally get to run it out, which is awesome. But I mean, this is so cool. At least one old border one is nice. But yeah, these are like old school staples. Looking forward to crashing in with some of these. You can do the whole, oh, I'm going to block your guy trick, then tap itself. It's going to be pretty cool. Got 3 more. These are just the, anthologies or chronicles? I don't remember which. So again, these are still cool, but if you can get the black border ones, they also look pretty sweet. We're not going to be getting any winter factories, that's for sure, though. I think it's focusing on my hand. There we go. Nice. So, yep, there's a pretty classic. Don't leave home without those. Another classic, Strip Mine. Got to have your Strip Mines. Oh, can we focus? There we go. Yep, so Strip Mine, destroy any land. This is kind of silly. We played, I don't know, was it Eternal Central or something? The US rules where you play 4 Strip Mines. I don't understand that. I don't understand how that can possibly be fun. We played against some people from the US or playing the US rules on Magic Online, Francis and myself, or Francis did. And it was pretty miserable, especially like even if you were playing like a 2-color deck. Strip Mine, like why is 4 Strip Mine good? I understand that Library of Alexandria is busted, but there's only 1 copy of Library of Alexandria. There's 4 copies of Strip Mine. I don't get it. It seems dumb. And like sometimes you lose the library, so what? It's old school, it's sweet, doesn't matter. Strip Mine just seems miserable. Anyway, Hammerheim. So this is just basically this is just a mountain that isn't a mountain that removes land walking from a creature. It's not amazing, but the art's sweet. And it's pretty free to play, so just play it. It's really cool. The art's awesome, so yeah, stick one of those in there. And then we just have a bunch of basic lands. So one of the reasons why I thought I could play this actually is that I actually already did own a bunch of unlimited mountains. I bought these ages ago when I was first playing Legacy Goblins. If we can focus this, that would be sweet. No? There we go. Yeah, so I bought a bunch of these ages ago to play in Legacy Goblins just because, I don't know, everyone else was playing white border dual lands. I thought I'd get some sweet white border basics, and unlimited seemed like the pimpest white border basics you could get. And it turns out that these are really good for old school, so that was pretty good good fortune there. But they look really nice. This is my favourite basic mountain art. Just looks cool. It looks like a mountain, it looks like a rock in Yosemite or something, which I have actually been to. And it actually looks like somewhere I've been, which is another reason I really like it. So yeah, big fan of this. So we've got a bunch of these to play to cast all our wonderful old boys. Okay, so that's the main deck. Hopefully, if anyone's still sticking around, you've enjoyed yourself. Now we're now going to go on to the sideboard. So the sideboard is a little bit ropier. I'm not really sure, to be honest. It's probably all just depends on your local meta. As I've not played in my local meta yet, we'll see how it goes. So we've got 3 Red Blast. These are the German Black Border. The colours look amazing on these. And who doesn't want to cast Rota Urknors? I mean, it just looks awesome. So we've got 3 of those. I don't actually know. I don't know. We'll see how good those are. I guess there's a lot of blue decks, so that's going to be interesting. help us catch up with that. We've then got 3 detonates. Again, these look amazing. So destroy a target artifact equal to X, and then it deals damage to its controller equal to the converted mana cost, or X. So this is just like, if you're playing an aggressive deck, this is the artifact removal you want. And again, it looks sweet. So excited to detonate some things. Like if you get to detonate a tome, 4 damage, kill your tome, that's pretty sweet. Okay, so there seems to be a lot of permanent-based hate in a lot of these mono-red and aggressive sideboards. So we've got like Black Vice, kind of stuff like that. I'm going to be playing Copper Tablets. Black Vice is like a bit medium sometimes, and they don't have cards in hand. Like if you draw it late game, it sucks. Whereas Copper Tablet, I think if you draw at any stage in the game, it's pretty good. It's like, I don't know, it's fine. I'm happy with this. People play Mana Barbs as well. Again, it's like kind of medium. Sometimes it's just a dead draw. But I think Copper Tablet's going to be okay. We'll give it a go. It looks really cool anyway. It's a sweet card. So I say sweet. It's pretty dumb. But it's cool in that it's a really iconic old school card. So I'm excited to cast some Copper Tablets. And we can get one of these out on turn 1 with our Soul Ring. So we'll see how that goes. Then we've got like a white package for white decks, so I don't know how many of these are going to be, but even against like control decks, these are good. So we've got Goblin Wizard. Again, I already owned one of these because I thought it was a really cool card and I like goblins, but now I get to play it in a deck, which is amazing. So look at that art. How good is that? So it's a 1/1 for 4, which is a classic Goblins rate, but you can tap it to put a goblin from your hand into play, so avoid counter magic. And you can pay a red and give any goblin protection from white, which is pretty good. So you can protect from swords, attack through a Sarah Angel, stuff like that. So, or you can just block Sarah Angel with the Goblin Balloon Brigade forever. This card's pretty powerful. I'd like to get another one, but I don't currently have one. So we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, to make up for not having a bunch of Goblin Wizards, we have some Mountain Yetis. So these are, again, just like for white and control decks to play around swords and stuff. So the art's pretty sweet as well. I love the flavor of like, it lives in the mountains in the snow, and it survives against the snow as protection from white and as Mountain Walk. That's just amazing. But it's a 4-mana 3/3, which is a really good rate with protection from white and Mountain Walk. So against like a control deck, if it's like a 3-color control deck, we'll have a Blood Moon in play, so it's unblockable, and it's got pro white, so you can't kill it. So it seems pretty dumb. This is like the red True Name Nemesis of old school, I would say. So excited to cast some of those. We then have another fork in the sideboard. To bring our total fork count up to 3 post board. I mean, this card's just sweet, so always going to have more of those. We have another Blood Moon, because that effect is also, again, quite powerful, and against the decks where you really want it, you're definitely going to need 3. And then we have a Shatterstorm, a German Shatterstorm, so a Zerschmettern der Sturm. There we go. I didn't say that very well. I actually did do German at GCSE, but I got a C, so shh. Yeah, the amazing art. I don't know, I think I just got this because I could get it from the same vendor as a load of other stuff, so it's not the Antiquities one. I don't think the Antiquities one's that expensive, but I don't know, this is still sweet, and it goes with my other German foreign black border stuff, so yeah, so that's basically the deck. Looking forward to playing it. Hopefully this wasn't too boring, just thought I'd try something a little bit different. But thanks for tuning in, and I'm sure there'll be more stuff like this in the future at some point. But for now, prepare to get flagged.